Hey everyone, welcome back to the Ktor Server Fundamentals playlist. In this video, we will cover WebSockets in Ktor. So let's begin with a quick introduction. A WebSocket is a communication protocol that allows a continuous two-way connection between a client and a server. Unlike traditional HTTP where the client must repeatedly request updates, WebSockets keep the connection open so the server can send update instantly. Let's understand how WebSockets work with this diagram. First, the client sends a request to establish connection with the server. This is similar to how a browser makes a regular HTTP request but with an upgraded header asking to switch to WebSocket mode. If the server accepts the request, it responds and confirms the WebSocket connection is now open. Now, the connection is established and the client and server can freely exchange messages. When the communication is done, either the client or the server can send a close request to terminate the connection. Once closed, no more messages can be sent unless a new WebSocket connection is established. Next, we will install and configure the WebSockets plugin in Ktor. Then we will learn how to manage multiple WebSocket sessions. And finally, we will build a chat WebSocket where client can send messages to all the online users or a specific user. Let's begin by adding the necessary dependencies. So for that, we can move to version catalog file within this Gradle package and we can duplicate this line and simply say Ktor server WebSocket over here as well. Now we can head over to build that Gradle file and we can duplicate this line and say Ktor server WebSockets and then we can simply sync the project. To install the WebSocket plugin, we can head over to the plugins package and create a new file WebSockets. Within this file, let's create an extension function application.configure WebSockets. Now, to install the WebSockets plugin, we can use the install function and pass the WebSockets. Now within this, we can define the various configuration for the WebSockets. So let's start with the ping period. Let's say ping period equals 15 seconds. Now by setting the ping period equals 15 seconds, what this will do is the server will send a ping frame to the client every 15 seconds to keep the connection alive and prevent idle connection from being disconnected by the network. So for every 15 seconds, it will send the ping frame. In response, the server can send the pong so that the connection remains ideal even if there is no data exchange between client and server. We can also set the timeout. Let's set the timeout as 15 seconds. By setting the timeout equals 15 seconds, what this will do is if client doesn't respond to the ping frame, then after 15 seconds the connection will be terminated. We can also set the max frame size. So let's set max frame size to long dot max value. So by using the max frame size, we can set the maximum size for the WebSockets frames. This can be reduced if you want to limit the message size and prevent the abuse. We can also disable the masking. So let's say masking equals false. What this will imply is it will reduce the unnecessary processing which will improve the performance. Now we can simply call this function from the application module function. So we can head over to applications and just above the configure routing function we can invoke this configure WebSockets. So make sure to call this configure WebSockets before the configure routing. Now to set up our WebSocket endpoint, we can head over to the routing file and within this routing, we can use the WebSocket function, specify the path, let's say chat. Since we want to be able to send messages to the specific user, for that we need to be able to distinguish between different chat sessions. So in order to do that, we can request for the username while making the WebSocket connection. So for that, we can get the username as a query parameter while user is making the WebSocket connection. So we can say val username equals call.request.query parameters and we can refer to the username key In case if it's null, we won't be allowing user to make the WebSocket connection. So in that case, we can simply say this, which refers to the current WebSocket session dot close, and we can specify the close region as well. So we can say cannot accept, and for message we can specify username is required for establishing connection, and we can simply return. To keep the track of username and its session, we can use the concurrent hash map. So we can say val online users equals concurrent hash map, and for the key we will be using username as a key, and for the value we will store the WebSocket session for this user, so that later we can refer to the username and send the message to particular user using their session. To store this username along with the session, we can say online user, and for key we can specify this username equals this. So this refers to the current WebSocket session for the user trying to be connected. After storing, we can simply send a frame. Let's send a text frame. You are connected. So the client knows that connection is success. To listen to the incoming and outgoing frames, we can say try, and let's also have the finally block, and within this try we can say incoming dot consume each, so that we will be getting each frames. Now we can refer as a frame. We can add a check if the frame is of type text, so we can say frame is frame dot text. Now if it's of type text, then we can simply receive the message. So for that, let's create a message data class. So let's say serializable data class and message. Now each message will have a text, so text of type is string, and we will also say to. This two will be the username whom we want to send the message. In case if this two is null, then we will be sending message to every online users that we have stored within this concurrent hash map, else to the particular user. Now to convert this text frame to this message type, what we can do is we can simply say val message equals json dot decode from string to type a message, and what we want to decode is frame dot read text. So here we get the text message and we will decode that to message data class. Now we can add a check. Let's say if message dot to is null or blank. So in case this 2 is null or blank, in that case we want to send the message to all the online users. So for that we can get the sessions for all the online users using the values, since key is the username and the value is WebSocket session. So we can say the values, and we can have for each, and for each session we will simply say send, and in frame we can add username and their message. So we can say message dot text. So we'll just see the username along with the message that they sent. Now in case if this message dot to is not null or blank, then we want to be able to send message through this specific username. So for that we can get the session using online users and specify the username as message dot to. So this is the username who will be receiving the message. Now since this can be null, so we can add a null safety and call the send function, and within this send function we can pass the message. So we can say we can copy the same message and paste it over here. So in this case, it will be received by every online users, and in this case it will be received by only the user with the username of this value. Now in the finally block, we can simply remove the online user session. So we can say online users dot remove and username, and we can also say this dot close to release the resources. Now let's run our application and try it out. So to try the WebSocket, we can click on this new and select WebSockets. Over here we can specify this WS for the WebSocket protocol and followed by localhost 8080, and our path is chat. So we will have this chat path, and if we try to connect, it will say username is required for establishing connection. So we can simply add a username query and say, let's say user1, and now if we try to establish the connection, it will say connected. We can duplicate this one. Let's duplicate the tab. Let's have user2. Also duplicate one more time, and let's have here user3. Now let's connect the user2 as well, also the user3. Now there are 3 users connected to our socket. Now let's begin by sending messages to all users. So we can select the JSON and we can say text to hi. So we are not specifying the value for 2. So this should be received by both user 1 and user 2 as well. So if we send, now if we check, user 3 sent hi. Here as well user 3 sent hi. Now from user 1 also let's send hello. So this should also be received by everyone. So here you can see user 1 hello. Let's try to send to a specific user. Let's say we want to send this message to user 2 only. Now let's say hello user 2. Now if we send this, this should be received by only user 2. Now if we check, it's a hello user 2, and in 3 we don't see this message that we saw in the user 2. So this way we are able to send messages to all the users, all the online users that we are adding in this online users hash map, as well as a specific user using their username. So it worked as expected. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching and happy coding.